income tax takes 3 minutes. So basically it's a hassle-free environment for all the global citizens, which we see nowadays more and more because, let's say, the next generation of, let's say, global citizens, they are not, let's say, tied to one specific country, but they choose the best environment which is good for them in the exact moment of time, depending on what they do and what kind of business they do, where do they study, or they do and what kind of business they do, where do they study, or what do they want to achieve in the future. And just yesterday, there was a president of Estonia also paying a visit to Seoul, and there was a press conference introducing, opening the e-residence branch also here. So South Korea is one of the top destinations in applying e-residency of Estonia, which is something that I'm extremely grateful for paying that kind of trust. And probably putting all these things together, we have become the most attractive country in having ICOs per capita in the world. Of course, Estonia is a relatively small country, 1.3 million people, and per capita, of course, having that much of ICOs is not comparable with the bigger countries, but in principle, it's a big thing for us. But we don't have yet any specific regulation for blockchain, either cryptocurrencies. We have the guidelines for having ICOs. We are preparing the sandbox for the, let's say, different value tokens and having ICOs. But blockchain as a technology and as a concept has been used in Estonia since 2010. For example, our e-healthcare system is built on blockchain. I mean, the backup of the healthcare system is built on blockchain, but that's something what was introduced before, that this could be the global approach as well. And just one last thing about the e-residency and about issuing Estcoin. So last summer we proposed that e-residency alone and with the services that we provide to Estonians, we could provide to global citizens alone isn't much. That's why we proposed the concept of Estcoin. And this is also relying on three, let's say, pillars. One of them is the currency coin, which means that inside the e-residence community in the world, which we have currently more than 4,000, from 140 plus countries. So basically most of the countries in the world are covered, and we are in all the continents. So inside this community, people could trade without banking system. So this is something that what was touched before as well. Then we could have, the second pillar was identity token. Yes, we have this electronic identity system in Estonia, which is quite complex. And nowadays technology could enable a much simpler ways of identification. And this, let's say, identity token based on Estcoin would be the solution. And the third point is something called, let's say, value token. So I believe that in the future there is a token for having, a good climate policy or fresh air or something like that. So we could trade with that kind of, let's say, value-based tokens as well, which could be launched by companies, by the states itself. So if you do a good, corporate social responsibility, for example, then the value of the token will increase or something like that. So this is something, and these are the things that we are doing, and of course we are continuing. And one thing that I would like to underline is that if you want to enable the use of technology, then the technology itself is not a question. The only question is the leadership by the decision makers and the understanding of the decision makers. So, and if it comes to blockchain, The biggest challenge probably for let's say, next couple of months and maybe years is that most of the decision makers understand that blockchain is a cryptocurrency only, but it's much more. It's much, much more.
눈이 번쩍 뜨일 만한 이니셔티브와 사례들 그리고 각국 상황들을 듣는 좋은 시간이었던 것 같습니다. 산드라로 대표님한테 마지막으로 좀 질문을 드리고 싶은데 굉장히 개인적인 의견을 여쭤보는 그런 질문일 것 같아요. 일단 전 세계를 돌아다니면서 이제 폴리시 메이커들이라든지 러메이커들이랑 이야기를 하고 하시는데 물론 각국마다 뭐 정치적, 역사적 상황이 다를 거고 또 뭐 국민들이 정부나 의회에 바라는 것들이 뭐 차이가 있을 수 있겠지만 그럼에도 불구하고 개인적으로 생각하실 때 어떤 모델이 가장 산업 진흥 측면에서 모범적이라고 생각하시나요? 여기 있는 나라일 수도 있고 바뀔 수도 있습니다.
So, thank you very much. One of the benefits of traveling around the world is you do get very different perspectives on how people are looking at blockchain. And there is a local flavor to how blockchain is developing in different parts of the world. So I'll give you some examples. So if you go to Los Angeles, you will see there's a very unique blockchain community that is now connecting with the virtual reality community, which is connecting with the gaming and entertainment community. And that community is doing all kinds of amazing things around shared economy and how gaming and virtual reality will fit into our future world. It's not just about pleasure or leisure things. This is also going to impact advertising, media, and also how people get paid. So for me, Los Angeles is a very unique ecosystem in that way. But then, if I go to other countries, some of the most common themes that I hear about relate to how do we help rural communities? How do we help cities that are considered secondary cities? Not Seoul, not London, not New York, but how do we help the communities that do not have the access to capital, to financial services, to connectivity that is actually, if you live in a city, you take for granted. And that common thematic, I think, is actually a very powerful one for especially most government officials that I speak to, is if you can utilize the technology and encourage entrepreneurship that solves problems that sit in communities like that, and create jobs, create opportunities, remove costs, reduce friction, it's actually something that I think we should all strive for. So I can't give you a single answer. No regulation, or lots of regulation. I think it's actually something in the middle. And I think we just need to be prudent about it. But here's the thing that I think is actually pretty encouraging. Everyone around the world that I've spoken to who is working on this have their ideas. And when those ideas are shared, then you can look at best practices. Some countries have made mistakes and they've learned from that. Other countries are doing some very interesting things in different categories that we should all learn from and adopt. And so frankly, my view is, again, let's communicate globally and not do this inside of just Korea or just Japan or just Finland or Estonia. It's let's collaborate just like as we're doing here and learn from each other.
감사합니다. 이제 각 참여자들의 의견을 하나씩 듣고 이제는 공통 질문으로 넘어가는 순서입니다. 모든 분들이 꼭 이야기를 하실 필요는 없고 질문에 의견이 있으신 분, 강한 의견이 있으면은 청중들이 더 재미있을 것 같고요. 예, 공통 질문을 드리겠습니다. 지원하시는 분께 마이크를 드리는 걸로 하겠습니다. 첫 번째 질문. 한국은 블록체인을 육성하지만 가상화폐는 안 된다라는 입장이 굉장히 유행했었는데요. 이에 대한 토론자분의 생각은 어떠신지요? 제이슨 슈 의원님 먼저.